I'm Coffee Kevin, and I just got back from Coffee Fest, which is a trade show, and it was held in Indianapolis over the weekend, and I had a terrific time. It was met a lot of new people. I met some people getting into their own cafes, their own roasting. Also ran into some terrific exhibitors, and I'm always scouting around. The one thing reason I go to trade shows, I look for products and I look for potential exhibitors. And fortunately, the Coffee Fest people are wonderful as well. And but anyway, had a really good time. If you're getting into the cafe business, I heartily recommend the. It's amazing what a little difference in language can make. I also got some coffee there, which I really liked. This is we're going to brew on air today with. I'm just about done with the Brim coffee maker. I know you think I really do 30 days. I don't use anything else for 30 days because that's how I review a coffee maker. It's a discipline, and it forces me to exploit it and work really hard to exploit it. It's like being out of town and having, all of a sudden you have a book. You only brought one book with you. And maybe, you're not sure you like that book. It's amazing how you'll give the book a better chance if you only, it's kind of a self-discipline that I've learned to do with products. And I think it makes a big difference in my reviews, or I wouldn't continue to do it. I got some nice coffee to try from Noble Coffee. Mark Littler, I'll have an interview in a couple of days. I'm working my way through. I got several interviews there, but he's their roast master, and he is my kind of guy. I mean, he's an engineer type. I could tell. For some reason, I've had a number of jobs where I hung around with engineers. I'm not an engineer myself. I'm probably the quintessential opposite of an engineer. But I really enjoy them when I meet them, and enjoy basking in their telling me all the stuff that they're doing to roast, and how he's tweaked his machines. I believe he told me I hope this is the guy who told me he has a Semiac. And I believe that's a French roaster. I at one time did a review for the Tea and Coffee Trade Journal of that machine. And anyway, he's really excited. He gave me a Tanzania Peaberry. He's going to send a blend. We started talking about blending coffees, and I mentioned that we've been discussing blending here, and he's going to send me one of his blends that he ran out of at the show. But today we're going to make this Tanzania Peaberry, which is, as I expected, a really nice coffee. And we'll make it in this brewer. Also, I met Daniel from Drink Now, and he's got a new product, and I brought the box with me. I guess you can go to that camera for a second, Mike. Yeah, it's hidden here. I was going to do an unboxing, but I really don't need to do an unboxing because I'll let him just show it to you. I can't stand. I've probably mentioned this before. I don't like unboxing videos. I find them really silly, but. This is the coffee ground. We're going to make this. In fact, what we'll do is let's start making this now, and we'll run the video, and then we're going to use this product. It's a very interesting product, and it's the most interesting product I think I found at the show, meaning new product. And we talk about something, and a too hot factor with coffee. It's very interesting, and I did an interview with Daniel, and he tells you the reason for it. But let's start making the coffee first, and let's do that. This coffee, let's see, got Optimum, which is 1 liter. I love that they put Optimum here. Like all drip machines, there is one sweet spot for that machine. Tried to put that on the wrong device. I have it. And then See how easy this is when you're in a hurry in the morning. And I'm using Melita filters today just because I want Melita to know that we'd like to have them at CoffeeCon. Melita is a privately held company, and they're still a family-owned company. That's pretty amazing after this many years. Okay, I'm using a little more throw weight this morning. I'm using a 58 grams of this coffee, and this is this. Wow, what an aroma. Tanzania peaberry. And peaberry means it's really little. If I were really together, I did bring some accidentally. And Michael, can we get, maybe the overhead shot will work for this. I'm gonna hold some in my hand and see if that if everyone can get a shot of that. Can you get an? Oh, I know, you can't get the overhead shot because we got to run the video first. We could show it afterwards. You want me to? Okay, he's nodding. Yes. Okay. Well, let's run this. But we're gonna show this Drink Now product, which is really the core message of this particular show. Hi, this is Coffee Kevin, and I'm here with Daniel Abrell, and Daniel has a company called Drink Now in Valparaiso, Indiana, but he's here at Coffee Fest, and I'm trying to talk him into coming to Coffee Con, but he's got a product. You know how I'm always griping about our coffee tasting too hot when I first get done brewing it? Well, he's got an invention, believe it or not. I'm gonna show this thing really quickly. Look at this. And what is the purpose of it, and how did he invent it? Well, we're going to learn that right now.
My wife Karen and my daughter Audrey were burning their tongues on hot coffee because, as you well know, if you drink black coffee without cream, it's served in between 170 and 180. So it took 3.5 years, but we finally have come up with what we think is a very simple yet beautiful system to be able to take your hot coffee down to a perfect hot drinkable temperature so you can taste those flavor notes. And I'll show you right now. That's what it looks like without the ice in it. And then this is where you pour the ice in, and you can do it with your scoop that you're already using for iced coffee. And then, so this chills the copper tubing in there, but we want to make sure that the coffee never touches the ice, so it never gets watered down. Here's 175 degree coffee we're going to pour through. And within 20 seconds, you're going to have a 10-ounce cup full of coffee, and you can see it coming down through. It's kind of fun to see it coming into a clear mug. Doesn't take long at all, and then we'll measure the temperature of this coffee that we've just poured. Yep, you can see it coming through. It just comes out the bottom, so once again, never touches the ice, just runs through that beautiful copper. Doesn't affect the taste at all. And once again, it started at 175. Let's see where we're at now. Our goal is to get it in the 130 range. And if you want it hotter than that, then you can just put less ice in it. So a very simple system. We have an ice gauge that we can give you to let you know how much ice to put in, but you can taste those flavor notes perfectly right there at that 130 degrees.
Daniel, to someone like me, probably it's all about the taste and meaning. I can get the complexity at a little lower temperature, but aren't there some other reasons not to drink ultra-hot beverages?
Oh, absolutely, Kevin. In the last 3 years, there's been 2 longitudinal international studies about the risk of drinking hot liquids, tea and coffee specifically, over 149 degrees. In fact, what they've come out with is the results where there is a 90% greater chance of esophageal cancer if you drink hot liquids above 149. So, and that's a very, very dangerous disease. It kills over 400,000 people per year worldwide. And so let's just be safe. Let's drink our hot liquids, but let's keep it at a reasonable temperature in between that 145 and 120 range, so that we can taste the flavor notes, and that so we don't have any health risk.
Hey, thanks for speaking with the CoffeeCon folks today. And let's see, your Drink Now Inc. and your Pound No Burn Tongues, right?
Yes, Pound No Burn Tongues. We are rebranding to Drink Perfection. We're calling this the Drink Perfector, and but you'll see us down the line, and we hope everybody gets one.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Kevin.
Wow. Okay, it is chugging away here. And, you know, what's really changed was very fresh coffee. I suspect most shows like this, people roast right before the show so that it's... And sometimes at CoffeeCon, we've actually had run out of coffee on at the end of the day on Saturday, at least, you know, extra coffee. And then they told me they roast Saturday night. So that's what Eric from Alana's Coffee in L.A. told us. That is our... All right, well, anyway, let's talk about this product for a second. And well, there's my unboxing. You know, you look at this and I say, well, this is a really limited market, but you know, what's changed is, and this gets back to a couple of weeks ago, we had Ted Lingle, the former executive director of the Specialty Coffee Association, telling us that, talking about China, but also talking about the fact that worldwide, he believes that younger coffee drinkers, the trend is, therefore, to drink coffee with nothing in it. You know, people who have cream in their coffee are already doing something to lower the temperature of coffee. And I've many times mentioned my sweet spot for coffee is around 130 to 140. 140 is probably right where I really enjoy it, where I feel the complexity of coffee comes forth. And it's fairly easy to bring coffee to that temperature by adding some form of cream, whether it's milk, whether it's almond milk, whatever people are using. And it's certainly my philosophy. I'm not doing anything to discourage that. As far as I'm concerned, I disagree with people who claim cream and sugar were only invented to disguise the flavor of coffee. I disagree with that. It's a combination. I compel you to show me a chocolate bar manufacturer that's really putting out and there are a couple of samples lately. I had one just recently, but they're intellectual experiments at this point. It remains to be seen whether they'll be successful in the marketplace. Okay, but I definitely, coffee's ready, but I definitely think certainly there is a value to drinking coffee just as coffee. And if you can make it properly and you get the right coffee for your tastes, it is quite a compelling experience. This product should help that. And I realize, again, I think it's a small market product, but maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Let's throw a couple of ice cubes in here. I'm not going to put too much in here. And do we have, yeah, there we go. And I would give me a kind of this shot, Mike. This shot here. Yeah, let's see. Okay, are we able to get that? Can you punch that shot up? No? Okay, a little higher. I want it, there we go. That's what I want. Okay, and maybe Oh, what the heck. Let's pour a little cold water in there too. I just want to bring it down and see where it comes. And this is a new product for me. Again, this is no way a review of this product. This is just, we're fiddling around together. This is Christmas morning after breakfast, and we're trying to, naturally, we've been to church the night before, so I don't want to, it's not just about the gifts, but the point is we're going to try and see what the coffee is before and after, and see if how this product works. And Michael, you mentioned to me that you wanted to get the shot from this side, and let me give you the thermometer. There you go, and see where the coffee's measuring. Can you see it there? Can you get a shot, or is it too hard to get it? There we go. Okay. Now I can see it. 180, 190. Yeah. Now this is about, according to him, 30 degrees above where the coffee should be. And that, according to the studies. So let's see what happens when we pour it in here. I know we planned to do it with my right hand, but I always err on my left hand. I'm sorry. Okay, and here's a cup of coffee, and I will say it pours through nice and fast. All right, and then let's put it on, all right, let's put it over here. And let's, well, here we are. It tastes great for me. How about it? Is that a good shot for you? There we are. See? And I just threw a few ice cubes. I didn't do that. I'm sure I'll get better at it. But 125, I can tell you, this allows me and this is still a comparatively hot cup of coffee, but I'm not scalding my taste buds. I'm not scalding my my throat, and apparently it's good for my esophagus as well. So I'd like to take care of that. So I definitely, but let's put it this way. You know, I don't know if I've ever gone on about this, but I really stay away from, if you watch what I write, I pretty much stay away from health issues as much as possible. I'm very proud of the fact that I once was invited to participate in a health segment about coffee and on Oprah Winfrey, and I actually convinced the producers to change the segment to talking a fun discussion about various types of espresso, because I noticed that people were getting confused. This was fairly early in the days of espresso beverages. And it was just about coffee before it was about a lot of products. But I definitely, this to me is a perfect drinking temperature for coffee. And to me, as much as I certainly am proud of the fact that coffee isn't exactly cigarette smoking, I'm not interested in coffee just to prolong my life. I'm interested in coffee because it tastes good. It's a culinary experience for me. And as long as it's inert, and let's keep it inert. This keeps it inert, but also it just tastes better. 170 degrees. I don't think it's 180 when it gets into my cup, but I probably had coffee that's 170. No one is able to cup or evaluate coffee at it's not at its best at that temperature. It's just not. The analysis, I think your taste buds at the very least go into some form of culinary shock. And it's great. I brewed absolutely fresh coffee. I'm having it, and it's hot coffee, but it's really it's really good. And Mike, why don't we go to this camera for a second and then go back to the main camera, because I realize I'm probably addressing the wrong camera. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll hold this up here so that everyone can see it. And then we go to the first camera, the front camera. I'm just asking you to go to the front camera from there because I was addressing the wrong camera. Okay, am I addressing now the one with the prompter on it? Okay, good, thanks. I like to think that I know which camera is on, but I don't. They give you a card with this thing too, which is somewhat helpful. It tells you how much ice to get into it for various. And actually, this will be. Unfortunately, it won't work like this. So it's. Anyway, you can bring it down up to 40 degrees if you fill it with ice. You can bring it down 3/4 ice, 30 to 35 degrees, empty, 15 to 20 degrees. So you may find, with a French press, you only need to bring it down a little bit. I don't know whether this, would be awkward for anybody to use if a friend came over, but man, to me, being able to both have a cup of coffee at the same time together that tastes like this is worth a little goofiness. Oh, and you know what? I've got I'm really being thoughtless. I have to make a cup for Michael because it's kind of part of his contract. Okay, and then here we go. Let's. I mean, it is. I will say it is completely easy to use as a product. There we go. I want you to get a nice full cup. Wait, no problems with the union. Okay. All right. And pass this out to you. But I actually, if you don't mind, just before you do this, let me check. Well, yours is down to 113, so maybe it's one of those things that, there we go. Yeah. So yours is going to be a little cooler. But, maybe as you go on, you pour the ice out. I don't know. I haven't learned to use it yet, really. This is just a beginner's luck thing. But it tastes, mine tastes delicious. And yours can't be cooler than mine. So, as far as, let's talk about what CoffeeCon. We're working on the Indiegogo site today. We're going to launch this week sometime. My prediction is Friday, just because I know our nature is combined nature as entrepreneurs is to take every minute we can to keep tweaking. I explained to one of our exhibitors who was really helping us the other day, going over some materials and giving us some insights. I've had some comments from attendees, CoffeeCon. They've all been helpful. All the input is useful to us. But we will take every minute we can to tweak and rethink and get things right. Kind of try to get things perfect. But I also realize you have to publish. I do know that. And so I'm also going to give myself a little more time. And that's one change I'm going to do as well. But we're going to publish this week on Indiegogo. So I will let you know here first, and it will be at CoffeeCon's Facebook page where we announce it first. We'll probably tweet something. We'll tweet. We've got a video clip. We'll tweet when we announce it, and then I'm going to ask those of you that, if you can share it or you can let your friends know. It will really help us, because the faster we get ticket sales, and the goal is to really get the funding to reserve 3 spaces or more. If we have enough money, I'll do more. Like I said, if it were up to me, I'd be doing a Coffee Con event every weekend. I mean, I love going. So it's like not work for me. But I also I want to be a benevolent show runner, and it's always been my goal, and try to make things pleasant and affordable for everyone else to come along as well. And that's what the goal is. So, I mean, if we raise enough money, I'll be announcing more shows. But I starting with 3, I think that's a modest enough number, and you'll hear more about it. I have as many details as I can, and we're going to, once we get that going, we'll be talking about it. But I'm going to launch this week. That is definitely our goal. Anyway, this coffee is really a beautiful cup. I don't know if you get to Noblesville, Indiana, but I'm sure they have a website, and I would continue there. Mark promised to send me a blend, and he's quite a interesting guy. One thing great about tasting different coffees from different roasters, and one thing a really final pitch, I suppose, for CoffeeCon in this segment is, when you have a bunch of roasters, you try different coffees. It's amazing. You find folks that really do a lot of different things with. I get it. In many ways, you say, well, they're all the same beans. What can be different about that many companies? It's surprising to me, but quite a bit, actually. There's a reason. Just like there's a reason when you go into a wine shop, there's a lot of different brands of wine. Everybody's got their own take on it. And in the coffee world, it's the take of the producer, who's the farmer, and combined with the take of the person who roasted the coffee, who's usually a different person, hopefully closer to where you are. And it's that combined creative element, so it's, sort of like listening to someone, if you're into music, playing on a Gibson guitar. It's the work that Gibson put into the guitar and the now creative spin that the performer has. And then, of course, with coffee, it ultimately is your ability to extract and brew. And by the way, this is it goes without saying, this is going to be a fun review. I should be writing this. I believe next week is my deadline to finish my reviewing it and turn it into a credible review for coffeecompanion.com. But so far, it's feeling pretty good. And that's about it for us today. I look forward to speaking to you soon, and maybe running another clip and I still have one left from Specialty Coffee Association, but I've got to play with the brewer first before I run that clip. But it was great fun and very hopefully useful and edifying for Drink Now. Be sure to investigate that product as well. And thank you, Daniel, for talking to us at Coffee Fest over the weekend. I'm Coffee Kevin, and we'll see you soon.